Hello, my name is the Smiler, and welcome back to more Without the Logic. Because that's what it's called, because I keep accidentally calling it Minus the Logic, which was going to be the original name of my channel, but it's not. Alright, anyways, what I wanted to do in today was show you my sextuple piston extender that I built. This took me months to figure out, and that's partially because I'm still fairly new to redstone. And I'm just now figuring out how to do a lot of the complicated stuff. But anyways, I wanted to build Kimimaru's Bracken Dance, and I thought it wasn't possible, but it is. I haven't figured out how to make it kill people yet, but that could be a challenge for you guys if you wanted to figure out how to make it kill people. So, yeah. Anyways, we're gonna start off with a few of my designs. I could have just kept the same design and kept changing it over and over again, but I figured I might as well keep my failures and show you how many times it takes to get something right, and that's just kind of how it is with redstone. But yeah, so this, like I said, was my first design. The idea behind it, well, the idea behind the whole system, is that the retraction sequence. You need to have this side powered, and also this side is still the same side because, yeah, it transfers across. But anyways, we're going to have this whole side powered, which keeps the pistons fully extended. I'm pointing at my monitor even though you can't see it, but okay. This side keeps fully extended, and you have pulse extenders that send a one-tick pulse through the system that goes it goes up through in between these things to get a retraction. So this one deactivates, that one deactivates, and it sends a one-tick pulse up through. And this one deactivates, bam, 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 bam. You get it. Well, maybe you don't get it, but I'll show you some actual circuits, and hopefully you can get it. And if you don't, I don't blame you. This thing is complicated out of heck, especially this first one. Anyways, this first one, there's a few things that are unnecessary. I'm going to tell you right off the bat. Every other one of these is completely unnecessary and is part of the reason the system doesn't work. There's other reasons too, but I haven't completely figured those out yet. I just know what's completely unnecessary. Anyways, I decided that I needed to send a one-tick pulse through the system, and that would go through all of these. And so once the pulse extender goes off, it fires off a one-tick pulse to the system. Of course, this would just always be powered if I didn't have these pistons here, so that's why I have an AND circuit behind it, so it doesn't power that. And yet, it still does not work. It doesn't even fully extend anymore because I gave up on it, but it's my first design, so I don't feel too bad about it. You can see this is the result of what happens when you try to fully retract it. Next one, right here, is my second design. This design is the one where I realized the most of what I needed to do. I realized that I didn't need these, and I realized that I needed to have more delay in between things too. And I thought how I was going to do that was with these lines. And it wasn't enough. I think this design would work if there was more delay in between these things, because that's how I figured out how to make my first working design, but that one didn't work. But yeah, I thought I just needed more of these to make it work, but you need a lot of those, I think, if you want to make it work that way, and even then, I don't think it's going to work quite properly if you do it that way. This one got the closest to fully retracting, the first out of my failures. It just, on the first row, it has this one that didn't retract, and then on the second row, it's fairly close, but it's broken up, so it's too fast is the problem. And this one, I tried to fix that speed, and I don't remember how this one was supposed to work. It's a crappy design. I thought the main reason it failed was because I thought I needed more delay. Well, I knew I needed more delay in between ticks, but I was doing it the wrong way. I needed more delay in between the pulse the pulse is going upwards, and I thought I needed to do that across. You don't need to do that across, if that makes any sense. You don't need to make it the things that directly power the pistons. You don't need to make it that way. Anyways, that one, if you understand anything about it, then good for you, but I don't quite understand what I was trying to do with that design. Well, I do, but it didn't work. This one is the one that made it. This one's the one that worked, and it's still far too complicated for its own good, but it's still much simpler than that one, at least. Anyways, how this one works is we have the pulse extenders set up at the side, so we get this activation right here, which is going to activate all of these, which is going to get a full extension. Then there's this one with a little bit of delay, which is going to make that final one go off, just so it doesn't go off too early. And these pulse extenders go off, and this one's the real one that matters, because this one starts the retraction sequence. So this goes, sends a 1 tick pulse through, and that goes into that one. That one sends a 1 tick pulse through, and I will really quickly show you just the kind of idea. You'll kind of see what it does. Oh yeah, also this powers this going all the way through, and so that turns off. You can see that sends a 1 tick pulse through, and that's getting the retraction here that we need. It does that thing, it does the thing, and the thing does the other thing, and we get a full retraction, which is really nice. And I was super happy the first time I got this. So happy, in fact, that I decided to make. I decided to actually use the idea I was going with Kimimara's Bracken Dance and make a bigger one of it, which now in 1.14 makes the entire game lag, which is, you know, fun. Oh, 1.14.2. It's fun when the entire game lags because you're retracting a whole bunch of sand. It's probably the light updates. If you put something like a roof over it or something, it probably wouldn't be as laggy, but still, it's fairly laggy, and I wouldn't make a super huge one unless you have a beefy computer and think you can take it. But anyways, moving on to my compacted design. The idea behind this one is it's actually the same as that one, and instead of having, you know, these big beefy falling edge monostable circuits, I decided to use this one as a falling edge monostable circuit. And I mean, well, that's a falling edge and a rising edge. You can use it for both. It's kind of weird, but anyways, this goes instead of just I can't speak right now. These lines are much thinner, and I've staggered these things so I could get them to fit properly. I won't go into too much detail with this one, but just if by looking at it, if you can kind of get the idea, it's the same as that one. It deactivates, observer detects it, sends pulse through the system, blah blah blah, and it works, but it's too fast, and it will break sand, and it's good up until the last one of the last retractions, and let me see exactly where it is, but the only thing that matters is not to retract that top one too fast, and you're gonna see in just a second here. I think it's right here is when it gets way too. Yeah, you can see why that would break sand, because falling, if you push sand back up into it, it will break the other sand. And here's my last design. This design is where I realized the final thing I needed to. You don't need to send a 1-volt stick through the whole system every time. And in the first one, I didn't do that. But in all the other ones, except for this one, the first one, I thought that I needed to always have a falling edge monostable circuit going through it. Or whatever edge I'm using. I think it's falling edge. I know on that one it is falling edge. I'm not sure on that one. That one they kind of act as both, which is probably why it's too fast. But this one you have the pulse extender in the back, and then you have this. You still have the pulse extenders. This powers this block, which powers that the repeater, and that once that turns off, it will detect that. And this line's just to make sure these keep on and don't go down at the wrong times. And so that's gonna detect that, and it sends a pulse through the system. And I'm really glad. Never mind. Anyways, that's just this one out of all of them works the best. I cannot talk right now. So you're gonna see it retracts and stuff, and this one, this one has the niceness of a baby angel or bird or whatever you prefer. If I messed around with the piston timings enough, I could probably get it to be faster, but to me, it's fast enough because I don't really care how fast it retracts. And there you have it. There's my Bracken dance, and still can't kill people. Still need to figure it out. Like I said countless times in this video, other people I hope can figure it out for me. But I may just have to go through another few designs to get it finally right. But yeah, that's just my my experience with one of the probably the most complicated breadstone thing I've ever built. And if you enjoyed it, you enjoyed it, but there's nothing else I can say. But anyways, well, I hope you enjoyed it. There we go. That's the right word I was trying to use. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see how to build this thing, or you want me to give an actual tutorial on how to build this thing, let me know. And that's all for me. Well, anyways, bye.